Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel. This is episode number 6. I'm super excited about today. We are doing questions and answers. I asked you guys to submit your questions during the week and had some amazing ones. Some of them were quite hard, so I was like, I'm actually going to have to think today. And we're going to cover an update on aliens, fasting. We're going to talk about solar flares and grounding and dark soul of the nights and so much more. So stay with me. How are you all doing? The energy has been crazy at the moment. I don't know if you know, but there's been loads of solar flares and X-class flares from the sun. The sun is made of plasma and it's sending it out across the universe, and we're absorbing lots in the earth at the moment. Obviously we're made of light and plasma, so that's coming in and it's raising our vibration, but it's also making us feel tired, not sleeping well, lack of energy, and also purging out old emotions, what's stored in our body. Obviously we need to raise our vibration, so I'm seeing a lot of that at the moment with my clients. Just old stuff coming up and for releasing, so that's really good. It's raising our vibration. I've had a really busy week in the last week. I had an event last week which is amazing. It was a Valentine's event and I gave 4 influencers energy work. It was so lovely to meet them, and yeah, for 4 people who never had energy, it was super cool. So thank you, I really enjoyed that. And then I actually took 4 human days off from Thursday to Sunday. I give so much energy in my job and I just need to take some time off and nurture myself. It's so important. We all need to do this to be a human being and not a human doing. So I just took some time off to rest, sleep, go to the cinema, got some sun in the park, saw some family, which was really nice. So it was, we all need to do this. Just take time for yourself. And I am wearing my super vibey bear t-shirt today. I love this. Check it out on my website. And also during the night, actually, I was up between 1 and 3 this morning and I had a download. Obviously I'm giving a lot of energy out at the moment, so my diet has not been super great. Last night I ate an Easter egg and a massive packet of crisps, which is not something I normally do. But I was told during the night I need to start fasting again. Fasting is so good for the body. It gets rid of inflammation, any sickness in the body. It's also really good for your psychic gifts. And normally I do like a 16 to 18 hour fast. So I stop eating around 6 o'clock at night and start eating 11 o'clock the next day. And all I drink is like water or black coffee, which has obviously got no calories, so that keeps you in a fasted state. But my guides have asked me to start doing more 24-hour ones, and this is just going to take some of the inflammation and help me absorb the energy that I'm working through at the moment with my clients and from the solar flares. So if that resonates, maybe give that a go. If you do like my videos, hit a like underneath with the like, subscribe or forward on to a friend. There might be something cool they may learn. And before we start the questions and answers, I just want to talk about something that keeps coming up in every session I'm doing at the moment, and that's the word expectations. And this is something that I work through myself as well. Expectations could be about a situation or expectations from a friend, and I personally, in all my relationships, I'm such a giver. I give so much to my friends and family, and let's just say someone's down, I'll check in with them so much, and then when, say for example, if I am having an off day and they don't check in, then I'm like, oh, I don't feel they're being a good friend to me, because that's not what I do. So something I've been working through the last couple of weeks is having no expectations of anybody. And also this could be expectations of a situation. So it could be like, oh, if I do this at work, I'm going to get this, and then you do that at work and then it doesn't happen, then you feel super depressed and anxious and down. So I want you to try and have no expectations. Just do the things that you want to do, and then you don't. If you want to do them, then you shouldn't expect anything back. If you do something for someone, it should be given and not ask for anything to receive. And I know that's hard. And also, it's like it's like working on parameters. So this is not doing anything, and this is over giving. So you just need to, like with friends and family, find your, like maybe it's a 4 or 5 for you, and this feels good. This feels a good state of giving. And if you go into a 6 or 7, you feel like you're being taken advantage of. And it's so hard because there's so many levels to this, and you could be like, well, I don't want to change me as a person because they're not giving back to me, but also is your pathology as a person a people pleaser, and that's what you feel like you need to do. So I think just go back to the barometer, obviously work to the number that you feel good at. So maybe a 5 is check in every few days on that friend and not every hour if they're not doing it for you, and then you don't feel despondent and feel like you're not getting that energy back, because every relationship is an energy exchange. So yeah, that's just, so expectations, a word that keeps coming up in every session. And I feel like just try not to have any expectations of anyone. I know it's really hard, and then if they do something for you, then it's a bonus, and if not, you didn't expect anything, and then you don't feel down. So yeah, that's something that's coming up at the moment. So today's first question is, you mentioned in your last 2 videos 2 different types of grounding. Can you explain that? So yeah, so in the videos for how to raise your vibration and also for how to heal yourself at home, there's a grounding meditation and then a grounding physical grounding. So physical grounding is when you put your feet onto the earth, and you absorb the vibration, which helps you sleep, gets rid of sickness, supercharges you. And then there's also like the mental spiritual grounding, which is obviously going to a meditative state, ground your energy down to the core of Gaia, and then bring the energy up. I think you should be doing both. I know some people might not be able to do that, but yeah, definitely try both. If you have to pick one, probably do the physical grounding, because that will make the most difference first of all. But once you've got used to that, maybe implement the second kind in a meditation. So that's question 1. The second question is, have I had a dark soul of the night, and can I clarify what it is? So a dark soul of the night is when basically your whole world crumbles around you, and it's like one big ego death. The night before my spiritual awakening, I was up the whole night. I just was purging thoughts like, I hate my life. Why am I so unhappy? And basically it's like you just kind of, your whole life crumbles. And then once you have a big ego death, you purge it out, you cry, and then you release that energy, and then you kind of move up a level. Like everyone has ego deaths. Everyone probably already has had one. You might not realize. And I feel like when you go up to the next level, when you get to the end, there's another ego death and another one. I actually had a dark soul of the night, where it's actually 2 dark souls of the days a couple of weeks ago. I'd just been taking on loads of energy from my clients and friends, and it got to the point where I just couldn't take the energy anymore, and I was forgetting to do my own human stuff because I was so busy doing everyone else's. So I had 2 days where I just literally just everything collapsed, and I was crying. But actually after that I feel so amazing, and had some amazing downloads after. And it's when you're in it, it's so horrible, but you've got to remember, it's like a cloud. The sun's always there, your happiness is always there, and the cloud will just go past and shift, and you'll be back to normal. So when you're in it, just try and drop into your heart center. Just know that it's going to pass. They literally you can feel like you're dying. There's so many famous books, like even like The Power of Now. He had an epic ego death. And that's how he had his awakening. You don't always have to have an awakening, but sometimes you just need that big purge just to clear everything out. So yeah, I think everyone has dark soul of the night. I'm sure I'm going to have many more in the future, and so will you. When you're working to be the best version of yourself, you need to purge energies out. So yeah, that is, unfortunately, we will experience them. So that's, yeah, it is pretty traumatic when you're in a dark soul of the night. And yeah, just be kind to yourself. Sorry, my cat's doing something really strange. My next question is, if I could change anything about the last few years, would I change anything? And the answer actually is no. I actually wouldn't change anything, even the really bad stuff, even like the dark soul, the night from a few weeks ago. Everything happens in life for you to experience, to grow. Some of the gems in life come from really horrible periods. Last year, it wasn't my best ever year. Basically, I was transitioning from my old career into this new healing role, and that had been my identity for 20 years. And to let that go, it was like I had some really tough days and tough months, but it's been so worth it now. I feel so happy doing what I'm doing and releasing something that was no longer serving me. So yeah, I wouldn't change anything. I believe that we're contracted and everything happens for us for a reason. So yeah, so I just always try and accept what's happening to you. Obviously we always want really amazing things to happen to us, but that's not possible, and we need to purge out old stuff. So yeah, so that was question number 2. And then my next question was, can I recommend some spiritual books, what I feel really good? So my first book I'm going to recommend is The Surrender Experiment by Michael A. Singer. He actually wrote The Untethered Soul, and The Surrender Experiment is about this guy is like a millionaire. He's a super spiritual guy, and basically he never said no to any opportunity, and he just followed the energy. And it's a super inspiring book. Even when some really bad stuff, like I've just mentioned, happened, he was like, this is all for my growth. So check that out. I was super inspired after reading that. I love anything by Dolores Cannon. She's passed away, unfortunately, but she was a hypnotist and regresses people, and the stories that she tells are wild. So check out her Convoluted Universe book. I use the Audibles when I go to the park. I always use Audibles to listen. Another amazing channel book by Sarah Landon is The Dream, The Journey, Eternity. That is a channeled book from Spirit, and it's super inspiring, and you get so many just amazing information on how to live a better life. So check that out. And then Bringers of the Dawn by Barbara Marcinak. This is actually a downloaded Palladium book, and that is so super inspiring. And then my last book I'm going to recommend is Trail People and the Star People, and that's by Sarah Brexman Cosme. She was actually Dolores Cannon's protege, and she wrote a book. It's such a beautiful book, and it's a real story as well, so check that out. I actually gave it to a friend, and she was just blown away. It's such a beautiful story, so check that out. The next question is, what is my favourite crystal? So I actually wear, this is actually a black tourmaline, and this stops negative energy, and actually wear a obsidian bracelet. It's so important to protect yourself from other people's energy, so I wear them. Before I had this funny story, I had a moldavite. So moldavite, I used it in your third eye, which is fine to use it just for a couple of minutes. So I used that last week in the third eye activation, and I actually did have that attached to this chain. And basically what I didn't realise is moldavite on the wrong person is like a super powerful, and basically it will strip everything out of your life that is no longer serving you. So I wore this chain and with a moldavite on, which is green, and my whole life turned to shit in the 3 months I wore it. Basically a customer sent me an invoice for £300,000, which actually in the end it had revoked because it was just unnecessary. And then I sent 3 parcels back. They all went missing. Literally, I lost friends. And then as soon as I took off the crystal and replaced it with the black tourmaline, my parcels were found. The invoice was revoked. So if you do use moldavite, it's super powerful. They say it's from space. I've seen loads of TikTok stories actually about moldavite saying people's life fell apart. So yeah, be super careful. And actually one of my clients was saying that someone gave her a moldavite crystal and it disappeared. And sometimes if you can't find a crystal and it disappears, it's because you're not meant to be having it. My favorite crystals that I do use, probably a rose quartz in session, that blasts open the heart. I love a clear quartz because it's a magnifier. And also I use obsidian, which is on this chain. It's black, and actually on my headboard I sleep between two because it absorbs that energy when you're sleeping, and that's so important. It protects your sleeping space because when we sleep at night, we do come out of our bodies and we astral travel, so that protects you. So yeah, check them out. So that is clear quartz, rose, obsidian, and the black tourmaline. And recently I've also been using I've totally forgot what it is now. I'll come back to you on that. Getting old. My next question was, in Peru, was you scared when you was on the bed and you had your alien situation? Yeah, I mean, do you know what it was? Obviously, it was because I was on my phone 1 minute, and the next thing I just blacked out, and then I was in a totally different position on the bed, and people were moving my body. So that's what I was super scared about. Yeah, obviously I had anxiety flooding through my body, but then I did relax into it, and I was like, I do feel safe in that. So for me, it was more the not knowing what was going on, and actually I actually did think I was being kidnapped or something worse in the hotel room. I thought someone broke into my room, so it was more that. But once I relaxed into the situation, however, it was super scary, and I was scared afterwards. In that moment, it wasn't actually as bad as it could have been. Yeah, I'm still processing, to be honest. Yeah, I'm still I'm still just letting it absorb in. And yeah, and the next question was, are you doing plant medicine this year, and have you changed your mind on ayahuasca? I've decided not to do any more plant medicine this year. As I said to you before in the other videos, you need to have a calling for it, and it does help you clear trauma in the body, and it is a medicine. It's not a drug when used in the right context. But this year I've decided I don't want to do anything. I want to be really grounded in my body, in every cell of my body, and this year is all about nurturing my human body and my sacred temple, and just treating myself really well. And I don't want to get out of my body. I want to really ground myself into it. And I actually see a lot of my clients, actually, they're in their head, they're not in their body. So this year is all about grounding for me. And would I do ayahuasca again? Well, I was thinking about that the other day, and it was traumatic. But do you know what's really bugged me? I didn't surrender, and I always regret what I don't do, not what I do. So I was like, should I surrendered? So I feel like Mother Ayahuasca, I will come back one day, not anytime soon. But I think that's always going to bug me, that I felt like she beat me on the last day, and I should have just embraced it and just let everything go. So yeah, one day, Mother Ayahuasca, I will be back. But not anytime soon, and definitely not this year. And then my next question I got was, what have you found to be the most difficult about spiritual awakening? So yeah, I mean, I had to really think about this question. I think one of the most difficult parts was, obviously, I really changed the person. I was like totally different. And it was kind of like losing a lot of friends in my life, and just my life ripping apart, my company, losing my company, losing some of my really close friends who didn't understand my journey, and just not being aligned with certain people, just starting to see through friends. Some people, it's just, you're just out of alignment with people, and then other people, you just realise that they were just in it for themselves, and they were taking advantage of you. Last year I lost one of my best friends. I really miss her. One day I hope we can be aligned again, and I don't even know why I don't even know, nothing really happened. It just my life ripped apart last year. So hopefully one day I can reconcile that relationship with that person, and I do miss them. So that was really bad. Obviously, as I mentioned earlier, lots of ego deaths. Every time I had an ego death, I was like, I feel like I'm the person I am today. And then you have another one, and we really try and identify with who we are. And once we realise we're just like energy and we're souls, and we're not this person, that person. I do this for a job. Once we release all that, the ego deaths start to calm down. And also you have to just really work through your levels and clear out the trauma when you're a healer. I've gone so super deep, and if you don't clear out the bottom, you can't go up. So what is above is so below. So you really need to clear out the dense trauma in your body and anything that you about yourself that you hate or you don't love. For me, that was a lot of work, becoming the person that I wanna. My cat's crying. Wanna be. So yeah, that was a really cool question actually. And then the next question was, what was the best thing about your spiritual awakening? I mean, the best thing about my spiritual awakening was basically the day I had my awakening, seeing God, seeing my dad. I will never be the same after that day. Sorry, let me just... Sorry, my cat's decided to cry halfway through the video. So yeah, once you see God, see Source, you'll never be the same. The love that I felt, that was just, yeah, it was just amazing. And just loving myself for the first time in my life and just enjoying my own company. So yeah, that was super cool. And then the next question is, who is your spiritual hero / role model? I've mentioned in previous videos before that Elizabeth April, I really, so I found Elizabeth, she was on a Gaia episode of Beyond Belief, and I just felt her vibration, so I went straight to her website, and it was really funny because on Beyond, on the program, she was like super dressed up, and then when I went to her website, she had like a cap on backwards, and I was like, I've gone to the wrong website, but it wasn't, it was her, and she's just super cool and young. And yeah, I just resonated with her information. She's such a pioneer and a way shower, and she just blew my mind. So honestly, guys, check Elizabeth April out. She does a YouTube video as well on a Monday night. Yeah, it's super cool. She talks about aliens and awakenings and Illuminati and just, yeah, super cool stuff, but in a really grounded way, because it sounds like totally a lot. So yeah, check Elizabeth out. My next question is, when you think of God, which picture comes to mind? So God for me is not a man. I saw this beautiful swirling waterfall of energy, and there was colours there. I can't even explain to you the colours because it was so beautiful, and the human mind cannot even comprehend what I saw. And just feeling the love that I felt from Source, and I am Source, your Source. So yeah, so when I think of Source, I think of love, I think of like energy, and I just think of this beautiful swirling. It was amazing. So the next question is, are there specific blocks or temptations in your spiritual life? I would say that one of the difficulties is for me is feeling absorbing other people's energy. I struggle to go out to places with like so many energies. I used to love going to like clubs and bars, and now I really struggle to be in a lot of energy. I spend a lot of time on my own or with like super close friends, or just going to the park and that, although I am having a night out on Friday, which I'm super looking forward to, getting on that dance floor. Yeah, so for me, one of the difficulties and blocks I have is just like being in too many energies and absorbing that, and getting other people's attachments on me. You have to keep cutting the cords, guys. Just close your eyes and cut the cord, because people do attach energies to you. And what's the second part? Oh, the temptations in spiritual life. I think one of the temptations is you can get super addicted to spirituality and doing all these like therapies and yeah, just chasing spirituality. So that's a temptation. But another thing I actually do miss is just like socializing. Obviously this month I've actually not drunk now for 2 years, so I haven't missed that at all. But yeah, it's just like obviously not socializing, going out as much, doing things that I used to really love. That has been quite tough. I can't think of any specific blocks or temptations. I mean, temptations, normally the stuff that I like to do is actually good for me. So, yeah, so that. And then the next question is, how have your friends and closest families, partner, etc., reacted to your awakening, and how are they sustaining you in your spiritual work? I mean, as I mentioned earlier, this journey has been so difficult. Yeah, I was thinking earlier, like I feel like I've had to come out the closet twice. The first one for my sexuality, and the second one for my spirituality and my like for the alien stuff. That's been super challenging, but my close friends have been super amazing for me. My best friend, she's not super spiritual, but she super accepts me, and I've worn her down, and now she's like, oh, did you go to that Altorian healing session, which is really makes me laugh when she says things like that, because that's so not her life. So yeah, I mean, my real close friends have been super supportive. My family have been supportive. Obviously, me and my partner, which I've explained before, it was been difficult for us because we've actually been together 21 years in April, which is super long time. Obviously, I know I don't look old enough, but we had quite a codependent relationship. And then after I had my awakening, I was like, oh, I'm okay now, and I didn't want to be controlling. So I was like, oh, just do whatever you want. And they took that as I wasn't bothered anymore. And it was just, I wanted for them to be free because I felt so free. So that was really difficult to navigate. And yeah, there was a few times when we nearly broke up. And yeah, it's an ongoing, we're really good at the moment. But over Christmas, we've kind of had a tough situation again. And that's what happens when two people are on different vibrations. When you're on a different vibration, it doesn't mean you're on a better different vibration. You're just working through different stuff at different times. And actually, you probably couldn't have two awakenings at the same time, because when I had my awakening, everything probably come about me, and they were like super supportive, and we were both going through stuff at the same time. We probably wouldn't be together now. So yeah, I mean, yeah, my friends and family have been super supportive. Obviously, I have lost a lot of friends who I'm not aligned with in the last 2 years. But to be honest, apart from obviously that said one person that I said earlier, I don't miss anyone that I'm not aligned with now. So yeah, there's that. And then the next question is, you mentioned in the video, the alien video, you have a connection with Pleiadians. Can you explain that? So it sounds crazy. So we're obviously in the third dimension. Your soul is in every dimension, and in the fifth dimension, I'm actually a Pleiadian called Andreas. And it's so weird because after I had my awakening, I read like 8 Pleiadian books. Pleiadian, they got really long blonde hair and blue eyes. And actually, I actually did have a really long blonde hair and blue eyes. I cut it off probably like a year and a half ago now. And it was like, I've always wanted blonde hair, and that really, yeah, so that kind of super explained it. So I read like 8 Pleiadian books, and then I had my first session with Elizabeth April, and she was like, do you know you're basically a Pleiadian called Andreas? Which I laughed, and she like, because obviously I'd read all them books and I was so obsessed with Pleiadians, I didn't even know what they was till like 3 months earlier. And Andreas actually works for the Galactic Federation. He's a mediator, and actually he works with me when I'm healing my clients. He works through my throat chakra, and also because we're similar vibrations, he drops in my head what to do with my clients. So yeah, when you're having a session with me, you're also having a session with Andreas, so that's super cool. And obviously that inspired my Galactic Federation hoodie and t-shirt. And actually a funny story, the day that Elizabeth told me I was a Pleiadian and his name was Andreas, I was like, give me a sign, Andreas. And basically I went to make some food, and on my hobs, it's like we've got like lights for every hob, and they normally go to like 1 to 5. And basically one day I turned them on, they went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then suddenly all their electric numbers turned to A's, and I was like, oh my god, because I just asked for signs. So obviously Andreas saying to me that he's with me and he helps me, and I always call on Andreas if I get to a sticky part in life. Sorry, my cat is doing something really strange today. So yeah, so that's my connection with the Pleiadians, and obviously they were there that day in Peru, so I felt super safe. So this is the love of my life. This is Milo, and he's actually on the Galactic Federation t-shirt. We superimposed his head as one of the Lyran. I love you so much, Milo. And he's epileptic, but he is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, and I love you so much. And yeah, you're the star of the YouTube video. Look at him. This is an interlude of looking at cute cats. Right, I'm going to put you down. So yeah, that answered the Pleiadian question, and then only a couple of questions left. After your spiritual awakening, you spoke about your life changed. What would be your advice or top tip to giving someone going through the same experience? I think just trust yourself. Source and your guides have got you. Find a support network that you can lean on so you don't feel like you're going mad. I'm lucky I had a couple of spiritual friends and mentors, but there's a spiritualist church, or you can have like Reiki, or there's like even like going sound healing. Just everything's within you. Just trust yourself. There's that book called The Leap. Read that. That's so good. And just really make sure you keep grounded. That's so important, because when all this crazy stuff's going on and your life falls apart, it's so easy to get involved in all that. So make sure you stay really grounded. If you're ever in need, reach out to me and I'll do my best to help you. So yeah, that is that's all I can say is just trust yourself. And there's going to be good days and bad days, but you've got this. So there's that. And then what techniques do you use to maintain alignment and to keep your channels open to receive messages? Meditation, energy work, tuning forks, which I use in session as well, and just being in nature. Just touch a tree, just get your feet on the ground. That keeps me in alignment. Obviously music as well. I posted a dance video yesterday just because I just felt so liberated. I was dancing in my front room doing my normal Monday, raising my vibration. I was like, do you know what, I'm going to do a video, and I had so many likes and comments on it. So do that every Monday. It's so good to move that energy. And then I've got two more questions. So the second to last question is clearing and protecting part of your everyday life? I clear my energy twice a day. I do it in the morning and do it in the evening. It's really important to zip up, cover yourself in a bubble, call in your higher self and ask for a pyramid of light over you. That will protect your energy. Definitely, guys, make sure you're like just protecting yourself. And then the last question, actually there's two more. So what's the thing you personally most struggle with? I think it's surrender. I've always been a bit of a control freak, and I always like to try and control how things turn out. And this lesson, part of my dark soul of the nights, is just surrender to spirit. And what we don't realize is that when we surrender to spirit, like just say that, for me, let's just say I want to sell 18 t-shirts, and I'm trying to force that, I'm just going to cause myself stress. But if I just surrender to it, for example, a few months ago, I was like, I really want to sell some more t-shirts, I want to like blah, blah, blah. And then I just surrendered. And the next day, Tracy Anderson, who's super cool, I love Tracy, posted wearing my t-shirt and a workout, and then just everything blew up. And I wouldn't have even asked for that. So sometimes when you surrender, life gives you something better than you do expect. So you just got to trust. Life is all about trust. I know it's so hard to do, but guys, just trust. Everything's going to work out for your highest good. Actually, I've got two more questions. What is my favorite plant medicine? I'd probably say psilocybin, which is mushrooms, or San Pedro, which I'm going to do videos on. So yeah, I'm going to cover them in future sessions. And then my last question is who is your favorite client, which is obviously from a client. I love all my clients. Every session's so different. Everyone's working on similar stuff but really different stuff. But my favourite sessions are normally for people's first sessions. At the end, just seeing how shocked they are and how good they feel, that just makes me feel super blessed. And just so that's all the questions for today. If you've got any future questions, submit them, send them to me on Instagram, and I'll cover them in a future video. And I just want to say thank you so much for being with me. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you have an amazing rest of the week and rest of the month. Going into March, the weather's starting to get nicer, so you can start grounding. And check my website for my services. And if you did like this video, hit a like or subscribe. What I'm doing at the moment, every few weeks, whoever subscribes to my YouTube, I'm going to pick a winner and give them a free energy session. So make sure you subscribe to win. Just want to end this saying, you are enough. You've always been enough, and you always will be enough. Sending so much love to you guys. Anything you need to know, hit some comments below, and I will see you in my next YouTube video.